Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Meme or Dream, the series where we take deck lists that Wizards publishes over at Magic.gg, saying they got at least 6 wins in a row at Platinum Rank or better on Magic Arena, and we put them to the test, and we try to find out, are these decks just as janky as they look, which would make them a meme, or is there something super sweet and spicy hiding out behind the janky facade that could make the deck a dream? And today we got a deck that I really do not understand. The best I could tell, this is a deck from someone who, when Outlaws of Thunder Junction released, really liked Nexus of Becoming, which kind of makes sense because Nexus is a cool card. I wanted to try Nexus of Becoming for a long time when we've never actually done it. It's a 6-mana artifact where at the beginning of combat on your turn, you draw a card, then you exile an artifact or creature card from your hand. If you do, you create a token that's a copy of it, except it's a 3/3 golem artifact creature in addition to its other types. So I think someone really liked the idea of Nexus of Becoming, spent all their wild cards on Nexuses, and we're like, well, I got all these Nexus of Becomings, I guess I gotta build a deck around them. And the end result is a deck that kind of blows my mind. So I think what we're trying to do with the deck is play Nexus, and then hopefully put like a 3-fold Thunderhulk into play with it, and get a 3/3 version, but it gets a counters, and it's super cool, or like a hulking metamorph. The rest of the deck though, like Mondrak, I guess, doubles up the tokens. Stone Retrieval Unit, I didn't actually know was a magic card. We're playing the old 4-mana 2/3 that makes a Power Stone when it enters. There's Stasis Coffins in the main deck for some reason. The early game is just a whole bunch of counter spells and like weird Power Stone generators. I don't know what's going on with this deck, or if it can even work at all, but there's 2 things outside of playing Nexus of Becoming that I really love about this deck. First, we got the classic Platinum-Mythic Ranked Player sideboard of 9 cards. Some Doorkeeper Thralls, good against Atraxa, makes sense. Cryptic Coat, good against Control, makes sense. Uncas, I don't know what this is good against or why it's in our sideboard, but at least we got like 3/4 of the way almost to a real sideboard. But my favorite part of this deck by far is apparently we didn't have any budget for dual lands, which whatever, playing budget friendly is perfectly fine. That's not a problem. The part that cracks me up though is we have no Surveil lands or Pain lands or any dual lands at all, but somehow we have 2 Hall of Taxids, which just might be the worst rare land in all of Standard. 4 mana and tap it to make a tap Power Stone token. It is really, really bad. So somehow this person ended up with a collection that doesn't have dual lands, but does have 2 copies of Hall of Taxids. I don't know how you even do that. How do you end up with a collection on Magic Arena that doesn't have a dual land but has Hall of Taxids? I didn't even know that was possible. But anyway, the deck's ridiculous. Let's jump into some games and see if Nexus Becoming actually does cool things. Can this deck even function? Should it be playing removal instead of just a whole bunch of counter spells? There are so many questions for this one. Let's jump into the game and find out if, oops, I spent all my wild cards on Nexus of Becoming is a meme or a dream. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoy it. And I'll be back in a bit for the wrap up. Need some magic cards? Well, you can snag them from our sponsor, Card Kingdom, over at cardkingdom.com/mtggoldfish. On to match 1 with Nexus of Becoming. I will say this list, this list scares me. This list is, this list is all over the place, but I am intrigued by Nexus of Becoming. What do we do with a hand like this? Do we even keep this? I mean, we have a counter. We have random 2. Oh my God, Stone Retrieval Unit. So bad. So bad. So bad. I mean, I guess if you squint really hard, it's like Solemn, but the absolute worst Solemn of all time. We're on the play. You know what? We're gonna keep this. We're gonna make our Power Stones. It's gonna be fine. And somehow we managed to have 2 colors of mana, which, oh God, Insidious Fungus. That blows up. Oh no, that blows up artifacts, doesn't it? Oh, our Nexus of Becoming plan. Opponent, we're gonna have a lot of readers. We're gonna have a lot of readers with this deck. Opponent, reading Power Stone Engineer. We will snap block this Insidious Fungus. I imagine they're gonna sack it and ramp probably. Wow, okay. Well, I mean, we will take that. Getting the fungus off the battlefield is good. Getting a Power Stone is also good. Wow, look at this. Look at this Stone Retrieval Unit. Haha. Haha. Wait, this is kind of working somehow. We're up to like a lot of mana for artifacts. We can actually just cast a 3-fold. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Okay, so play this Mirrex to make blue. Blue mana, whatever mana, Simulacrum Synthesizer? Wait, is this oh my god, a Nexus of Becoming. Okay, I mean, we're doing the thing. Yes, we will keep these cards. Oh my goodness. Wait, did Platty break it? Did Platty break it? Platty might have broke it. Commercial District. About it. Glisa. And passes. Well, I mean, we came here to Nexus of Becoming, and Nexus of Becoming we will. We get a Nexus of Becoming. We make a construct. We go to combat. We draw a card. Threefold Thunder Hulk into play. As a 6/6. Oh my god, Platty! Platty! You broke it, Platty! You broke it! Oh my goodness. Wow, wait, maybe this deck's actually busted. Look at this. This was like turn 5. Opponent Goldvein Hydra, sure. Sure. Bring it. Bring it. Opponent gonna get in. We can jump block with a 1/1. Opponent passes. Let's start with a... Actually, you know what? Let's just go to combat. Draw a card. Put Hulking Metamorph into play. It's going to copy a threefold Thunder Hulk. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Does this trigger when it attacks? When it enters or attack. My god. Okay, we're just going to swing with everything. They get to kill something with Glissa, which I guess we could have countered, but I don't think any of this matters. I was so skeptical of this deck. But this is kind of absurd. All right, opponent down to 12. They get some treasures with their Hydra. That's fine. We will play the land. We will leave up our counter. We will pass the turn. And I like where we're at. Even with our opponent having the they need, like, I don't even know, something that doesn't exist. Who would have thought about an opponent scoops it? Okay. 3 mana, 2/4. Other blue creatures you control have. Whenever this creature becomes tapped, you can draw a card, discard a card. Other artifact creatures you control get +1/+1. Pay Phyrexian blue until on a turn target creature you control becomes a blue artifact in addition to its other colors and types. Activate only as a sorcery. Why would we play that card? I mean, I guess we just run it back? What Platty recognized that I didn't recognize is that Nexus of Becoming threefold Thunder Hulk is kind of a combo. Kind of a combo, maybe a good enough combo, that it's actually worth playing these janky Power Stone cards to make it work, because that was kind of absurd. Ugh. We got to keep this. We got to trust that we draw a blue source of mana, which we got 10 of them. It's possible. That's, okay. Simulacrum Synthesizer. I will say some dual lands would, up the consistency of this deck a smidge. Well, let's play the land, pass the turn. Come on, deck. Come on, deck. Oh, no, that's a Glissa. Wow, that is the blue mana right on time, though. Yeah, let's just get hit by the Glissa, unfortunately. We don't really believe in removal. I mean, we have the combo in hand, though, so I think our hope is to get enough mana that we can do the thing, and then the thing will hopefully stop Glissa. About it. Land and Deeproot Wayfinder, sure. Well, that's a Stern Lesson. Draw a couple cards, discard a card, make a Power Stone. Well, there's our lands. I think we can discard the Stasis Coffin for now. Oh, we still need 2 more turns. They can ramp with the Wayfinder. I expect after what happened in game 1, they're probably gonna have Artifact Destruction in their deck. Opponent passes. Let's play 3-step, or play an island. I think we pass and make a fish to block. I guess we could also just leave up the counter, but I don't really want our opponent getting all these combat damage triggers. Yeah, let's make a fish. Opponent can get their land back. Now the question's gonna be, do we go for it? Do we go for it, even though our opponent's got mana up? They mill a Colossal Rattle. Wow, that actually is kind of a hit. Mill the Rattleworm. There's a Hulking Metamorph. Well, play the Plains. I feel like if we play the Nexus, they're going to kill it before we even get to combat. But if we do nothing, that's also really bad. I wish we had more blue mana so we could like play the Synthesizer, but leave up a counter. Yeah, I mean, we got to do it. Well, there's the Nexus. Opponent. Tear asunder. Yeah, now we're probably dead. So this is kind of the... Yeah, this... Imagine 2 things. Imagine 1, if our mana base was functional. Imagine 2, if we believed in removal instead of just counter spells. If we actually had a way to kill a thing on the battlefield. We will stick around 1 more turn, I guess, but I'm pretty sure this one's just over. Found it. Draws and gets to surveil and gets... I mean, our opponent's kind of popping off. They're popping off, though, because our deck is just... This is more like I expected. And okay, another counter. Yeah, so I think this deck wants counters to protect the combo. I think it also probably wants removal. Right now we're on the 10 counter no removal plan. I think maybe like 6 removal, 4 counters, something like that, with more counters in the sideboard. That probably would improve the deck. Well, all right, we're gonna keep it. This hand, we need to hit a land. We have Mondrak, which is interesting. I don't even know if Mondrak is that good with Nexus, because it's just gonna legend rule, but... All right, land. Okay, we hit a land. It is a plains, but it counts, it counts. Opponent going to desert us, and play an Insidious Fungus that I think we will just answer, because that can blow up an artifact. I'll play the land, and yeah, we're just gonna play the Synthesizer. We are going to, wow, put both to the bottom because we really want lands. We actually really just want a blue source, and then we can metamorph copy the Synthesizer. That would be sweet. All right, opponent, tear us under. Sure. And a tap land. Well, let's Stern Lesson. I guess we discard the 3 steps ahead. Play the Fountain Port. So we're almost to the Nexus, although we don't have anything super great to put in with the Nexus. Although if we draw land, Insidious Fungus, and, well, okay. So I think we do it, because we can play the Nexus of Becoming. We draw a card. Let's put Metamorph into play and copy the Nexus of Becoming. And if our opponent can kill both of these, we still have another Nexus in hand. All right, so there's a Shielder's Edict. And then they can sack the Fungus. First, they're going to get into ramp. But our opponent has bad news coming, which is they're down to 1 card and theoretically out of answers. And we still have a Nexus in hand. Wow, and there's a Thunderhawk Nexus, and we'll go to combat. I think I know what we're putting into play here. How about a 3-fold Thunderhawk? Make a few friends? Wow, Overlord of the Hauntwoods. It's a good card. It's a good card. There is very bad news for our opponent, though, which is we're going to play this Mondrak Glory Dominus, and then we're going to go to combat, and we're going to put this Stone Retrieval unit into play. But we're going to get 2 of them. They're each going to make 2 Power Stones. Then we're going to go attacking. We're going to make a few tokens. Opponent going to do some blocking and some blocking. Sure. Down to 10. Play the land and pass the turn. And I think we're probably good. Pillage the Bog. Opponent digging. Doing some digging. I mean, they need a Wrath, but I don't think they have the mana for a Wrath. Wow, so, okay. Nexus of Becoming might actually just be busted. Wow, they find an answer to the 3-fold Thunderhawk. Unfortunately for our opponent, I think the damage might already be done, unless they have, like, Pyroclasm. Alright, just another pillage. Yeah, I mean, that's all it took. That's all it took. A turn with the 3-fold... Man, 3-fold Thunderhawk with Nexus. By itself, it's kind of meh, because it only makes 3. It kind of only makes 3 tokens, but... With help, it becomes kind of insane. Well, let's Stern Lessons real quick. Discard a Long Reverse Pull. Well, we tapped all of our blue mana. Okay. Well, go to combat. Draw a card. Let's put a Mondrak into play. It doesn't do anything. Attack with everything. And win. Okay. Nexus of Becoming. Wow, that game our opponent even had multiple answers. They had multiple answers and it didn't matter because Nexus of Becoming is just too strong. All right, 1 match in. We're 1 match in. Right now I'm feeling like this build is still probably not very good. Like we lost game 2 partly due to mana base troubles and the lack of removal. So I don't know if the build of Nexus Becoming, I'm not convinced that this build is right, but after 1 game, I am already convinced that Nexus Becoming 3-fold Thunderhawk is kind of a thing. Kind of a thing that we should explore more. Like, even if this deck is not all the way there, the combo itself seems amazing. Well, we'll play first. All right. We got the Nexus. Please don't be mono red. Ooh, top 1,000 too. Oh, if this mono red, don't be mono red, don't be mono red. Ah! Okay, so one thing I will say about this deck, I imagine in our world of no removal spells, that our odds of beating a turn 1 Leyline of Resonance is probably, I don't want to say 0, because I don't think there's any zeros in Magic, but It's probably 0. We can't kill. We don't have the ability to kill a cacophony scam for anything. And I imagine we might not be fast enough to get to this Nexus. Bonnet, Might of the Meek. Gonna double trigger. Gonna draw a couple cards. Yeah. Might as well. I mean, next turn we get to play land and pass. We have all of our colors of mana. That's a win. That's this lane line card, my god. I feel like this card will get banned. I think it will get banned in standard. Whether it's actually too good or not, I think it gets banned. Because I think it's... Yeah. Well, we can stone retrieval unit into the Nexus, but we might just die right now. But I feel like the play pattern's going to get the card banned. I feel like it's going to be a thing that a lot of people complain about, and a lot of people mash the frowny face after their matches. And I think that it'll end up getting banned. Whether its win rate is 60% or 40%, I don't think it actually matters. It's kind of like Tybalt's trickery, right? In the sense that the problem with trickery wasn't that it actually was too good by win rate. In standard, like the modern version maybe was, but in standard, it wasn't too good by win rate. It was super janky, but it was so obnoxious, and the play pattern was just so deflating that eventually they, had to do something about it. And I feel like Leyline might end up in the same space. I think it's another card too. Like, I think the tiebreaker is best of one play. Like, when it comes down to it, opponent, the slowest turn 2 kill player in existence. All right, yeah. Tanks for a while, and then cast their pump spells. And I mean, I guess they're probably thinking, oh, they're a blue-white control deck. They're gonna get us. Nope, we're gonna play a stone retrieval unit. I imagine they could have won the game there. All right, opponent. I mean, none of this actually matters. Turn inside out. Gonna manifest dread a bunch. I mean, I think we're actually just safe to concede now. We go to 1. But remember, our deck does not believe in removal. Counters are fine. We have counters. I'm just gonna scoop. Our opponent, so much time thinking about how to obviously win this game. Do any of our sideboard cards have relevance? Not really. Although, honestly, I guess, you know what? Like, wait, hang on. When it enters or attacks, wait, who built the sideboard? I missed this. I didn't even pay attention to this during deck tag. I was like, oh, Doorkeeper Thrall shuts down Atraxa. It also shuts down our deck. Platty. It shuts down threefold Thunderhawk. It shuts down Stone. We can't have our Stone Retrieval unit shut down. Yeah, that's a bit of a non-bow. I mean, I guess against Atraxa, maybe it's worth it just because Atraxa is so busted. Maybe Stasis Coffin is the key. Let's run it like that. Maybe we just Stasis Coffin him. I mean, we're on the play at least. Although, honestly, I can't imagine us beating this deck. If you just look at the cards in our deck, well, that's not gonna do it. No lands. All right. Go Simulacrum Synthesizers. If we're still alive on turn 4-ish, opponent, gotta find that turn 2 kill. Mulliganing. And they found the ley line. Sure. If we die on turn 2, on the mulligan to 4, then they really need to ban this deck. Heartfire Hero. All right, seem impossible. Well, here's a threefold Thunderhawk for the distant future. I assume we're dead by the time we get to this, but you never know, opponent. Do it, opponent. This is your chance. This is your chance to get it banned. If you kill us right here, I'm gonna drive out to WotC headquarters. Are we alive? Okay, they don't have the land, so they can't actually kill us. No, just a monstrous rage to get in for 7. Yeah, down to 13. Well, play the land, play the synthesizer. Do a little scrying. I guess we keep blue, but not white. But that's the turn. Opponent. Felonious Rage. Get some triggers. Well, I guess it's die on turn 3 to the mulligan to 4. Felonious Rage. Triggers. Yeah. And dead. Come on, frowny face. Wizards, let us vote. I actually take the frowny face voting very seriously. I might be deceiving myself, but I like to think it actually matters. I also like to think, and I don't know if they do this, I hope they do because it's so obvious, but I hope that they do the smiley face, frowny face to actually gather data about decks they're interested in or thinking about taking action on. I don't know if it's just random, but if I was Wizards and I was running this, I would like kind of skew the algorithm to make sure that when people are playing against this mono red deck, for example, that you put the smiley face, frowny face thing up more often than other matchups, just to like be able to gather data on what the player base is thinking about those decks. All right, I mean, we're gonna keep this. We're a mono blue hand, although maybe that's fine. Maybe that's fine. We do have blue cards in this hand. Was this bats? Oh, all right, Deep Cavern Bat. Being on the draw might be an issue here, because they can take the Long Rivers pull, and then they can resolve something. Wow, okay. About it. I don't really want to counter that. Yeah, we're going to let it go. Bona gets in with the bat. We can never get the bat off the battlefield. That's not allowed. Well, let's play the island past the turn. About it. Land. Deep Cavern Bat. Well, we have to counter this. And an Essence Channeler, yep, and it gains life, and that's really bad. And I think we're dying. Well, there's a threefold Thunderhawk. I just don't think it's going to be fast enough. Play the Power Stone Engineer. Because we can't block the Essence Channeler, because it's going to have flying. Actually, they don't have a Pain Land, do they? Okay. Cleric. Makes us lose life, makes us lose life. Grows the dorks, super huge. Opponent attacks. Well, we are going to block real quick. I mean, we get to do the thing, but is the thing going to matter? So we get the Power Stone. Opponent. Oh, these clerics draining us. Well, I mean, Nexus of Becoming. We have a good turn. We have a very good turn. But does that good turn even stop any of this? We make the threefold Thunderhawk. We make a bunch of dorks to go with it, but our opponent has a lot of flyers. If they can lose life, we die. And we might just die anyway to these clerics. Sheltered by ghosts. Well, I mean, we have to chump. Yeah, I guess we're just dead, right? Yeah, we don't have removal. There's no, and then the bats trigger. So question, not that any of you can answer this question because this is a YouTube video. I feel like if we rebuilt this deck, it would actually be sick. Like, I think this deck can be really, really cool. I think the potential of this deck is actually super high. So I'm wondering, the question is, do we just keep playing this version of the deck, or do we try to build the cool version and play that for the second half of the video? I almost think trying to build the improved version would be worth it here. Like, I think it might just be worth it, because I feel like the potential of the deck is high enough. Well, play the land past the turn. Swamp and Zoraline. Well, we got to counter that. No bats allowed. And we draw planes. I'll play the planes, pass the turn. We'd love to find a Nexus. We have the combo. We can ramp into it with the, well, another one. With the Stern Lesson. We will discard a Stone Retrieval unit. Oh, the Engineer doesn't really do anything. Play the Murex. I mean, I guess we play the Engineer. Play the Engineer, pass the turn. We need to find the Nexus. We need to find the Nexus, and we need to find it before the bats come. Amelia Bedelia, sure. Bona gonna go to combat, gonna start exploring, gonna start reanimating. Gets back to LSL core. Gains a life, explores. Sure. Well, Stern Lesson. Discard, I guess, Island. Long Rivers pull. Well, I mean, do we even play the Thunderhawk? Do we just have to? And then it gets answered and we get nothing. If we don't do that, what are we doing? Trying to just counter things? Yeah, I mean, we got to do it. Thunderhawk a lot worse when we don't have the Nexus. When we actually have to play it for 7 and make 3 tokens, it's pretty underpowered. When it's coming down off Nexus, it's actually great. Well, here's the Cleric. Drain us. Yeah, our deck doesn't really do much early. I feel like this would be a really solid deck to play a Wrath or two in, just to deal with these situations. Found it. Zorlead. Sure. Mills it. Gets in with his Zorlead. Sure, sure, sure. Triggers. I could see how someone could get 7 wins with this deck. I could see how that's possible. It would just take a lot of really good running. But if you run well enough, yeah, we're just dead. So I think, okay, so we went 1 and 2 with that version of the deck. I don't think there's anything more we can learn playing this version of the deck. I think, why didn't you give us this after last match? Sure, whatever. Like, yes, bats are fine. I think we're going to try to rebuild it real quick, because I think we're just going to keep running into the same issues over and over again. Like, because the issue is not the deck's plan. The deck's plan is actually kind of funny, and I don't want to take away the cool, funny part of the deck. So here's the frustrating. We're going to keep all the jank. The jank's not going away. I think that here's the 2 things that need to change to make the deck. So we're not changing any of the combo pieces. We're keeping full-on stasis coffins, all the jank, all the power stone stuff. The only 2 things we need to do to really make this deck, I think, a lot more appealing is, like, trim down on some of these counters. Like, is that right? 4, 6... Maybe we play like 5 counters. I really want a Wrath or 2. Go down some of the counters and bring in some removal. Because we're just going to keep running into that same issue time and time again, which is if our opponent resolves anything, we just kind of get wrecked, right? Like, we saw that in all of our losses. Like, our opponent just plays things, and we're like, oh, well, okay, I guess we die to a 3/3 flyer because our deck doesn't believe in removal. So I think adding removal is just necessary. So I think something like, maybe we just go with the No More Lies, since it kind of synergizes with copying our stuff. And we can put the other ones in the sideboard, so we'll still have access to the rest of them as well. We can put a couple Long Rivers pulls, No More Lies in the sideboard. We'll keep the jank in the sideboard too. Obviously, like, if you're fully rebuilding the deck, like, the sideboard could be a lot better. Like, the Doorkeeper Thrills in specific, not very good. But the main thing I want to change was adding some removal to the deck. The second thing is just, like, the mana base. Like, there's no reason for us to lose to this mana base time and time again, because we have the dual lands that can get around this, right? There's really, outside of budget, there's not really any upside to playing this mana base. Do we want the Verges? Maybe a couple Verges. We can do something like this, and now we should have very close to perfect mana, where we're always going to be able to cast our stuff, which is a big upgrade. So let's try it like this, because the one takeaway from all of this is the actual Nexus of Becoming combo seemed really strong. We just weren't being able to execute it enough because we were just getting run over by decks that took advantage of the fact that we were playing 10 counters and no removal, or we were stumbling on our own mana and not being able to cast the interaction that we did have because our mana was just too clunky. Well, all right, we're gonna try it. We do need to hit a land or 2. Still don't know about the Stasis Coffin. Is Stasis Coffin actually good? It is kind of like a fog. Oh boy. Playing the Aura deck by the looks. Well, let's see Chrome Coast. Lush Portico. I mean, this thing's gonna get big pretty quick, most likely. That's usually what happens with the Scavenger. Opponent gets in, hits us. Down to 19. Well, Attic our ways, and let's just play a... Actually, do we just pass? Or do we play the Synthesizer? Yeah, let's play the Synthesizer. At least we get a couple of scries, and if it sticks around, it's really good with the Stone Retrieval Unit. Well, we don't want the Stasis Coffin. I don't even think we want the Archive. Let's just go bottom. Wouldn't be surprised if our opponent had an answer to the Synthesizer. Audacity. And, wow, we might just be dead. Ethereal Armor. Found it. Hits us for 7. Opponent passes. Another Nexus of Becoming. Well, play the land, play the Stone Retrieval Unit. Get the Power Stone, get the Construct. I mean, maybe this will keep us alive? Maybe? Opponent Forest. It's going to depend on how many auras they have. They do have Trample. If they can get flying, we might just die. So if we block and block, we just lose all of our stuff. but we take 0 damage. Yeah, I think we just double block. I like taking 0 here. Taking 0 seems good. Well, that didn't really change anything. Sure, we take 1. Yeah, I think we play the Stasis Coffin. Play the Stasis Coffin, make a construct. Let's play the Mirrex. We'll play the Mirrex, pass the turn. I mean, we're probably going to activate the Stasis Coffin, but it's possible that we don't, and that we want to counter something instead. Whenever you attack, put a +1/+1 counter on an attacking creature, sure. Yeah, that thing's getting big. Well, let's activate Stasis Coffin. Get a little protection. We could really use a draw that does something with this Nexus of Becoming. Ooh, Sunfall. Our quick little rebuild might be paying off here. Let's attack. I mean, since we drew Sunfall, I think this becomes very easy. We Rathia. We Sunfall. Reset things. Yeah, that was nice. I will agree. That was very nice. And now we can Nexus of Becoming, hopefully without the fear of immediate death. About it. Invasion of Gobakon. Well, they're gonna learn what our deck's up to in a minute. Although, oh wow, they take it 3 steps ahead? No one respects the Nexus of Becoming. Well, our opponent's gonna learn. Can we draw a 3-fold Thunderhawk? Another Nexus. Well, play the Nexus. Make a construct. Go to combat, draw a card. Nexus. Number 2. Make a construct. And now we got 2 Nexuses? We draw a synthesizer. Well, an opponent. Doesn't even wait around. Okay, that's what we were missing in our first games. Exactly that. That is exactly what we were missing. Is just the ability to be like, oh no, our opponent built a big threat. Can we get it off the battlefield? That is precisely what we didn't have access to, and it saved us. Like, that bought us the time to do the Nexus of Becoming thing, and that's something I think that's worth keeping in mind. If you're new to building decks, or for building your commander decks or whatever, like, you're trying to do something cool with Nexus of Becoming. Playing a Wrath doesn't make your Nexus of Becoming thing less cool. Playing a Wrath allows you to actually do the cool thing with Nexus of Becoming. So there's no shame to playing the nuts and bolts cards that let you stay alive long enough to play your 6-drop, against odds payoff. So I think that that is something to keep in mind with deck building. Like, the cool thing is cool, but you also need the support cards that allow you to actually do the cool thing. Because if you never get to see the cool thing, like, what's the point? Like, what are you even trying to do? Also, shout out to Stasis Coffin, which actually bought us a turn that game. I guess like 1 Mondrak and maybe 1 Stasis Coffin. Let's try it like that. I will say Nexus of Becoming actually seems very powerful. Oddly powerful. Way stronger than it plays better than it looks. Wow, no lands. It looks a little janky. Looks a little expensive, but it actually plays very well. All right. Well, let's put this hulking metamorph, I think, to the, well, you know what? We probably don't need double 3-fold. I have such a hard time saying this card's name properly for some reason. I know, surprise, surprise, but I'm actually trying. 3-fold Thunderhawk. 3-fold Thunderhawk. Thankfully, our opponent's not running us over yet. Hasn't done anything the first 2 turns, which is fine with us. Don't play a Calyx, though. I would be very scared of a Calyx here, because we cannot kill a Calyx. The opponent does nothing. Well, play the land, and we're just going to pass. We could play the Simulacrum Synthesizer. Opponent says, good game. What are we scooping? Well, we will Stern Lesson. Draw a couple cards. Discard a card. Oh my god, it's time for the Hall of Tagson to actually do something. It's happening. Opponent draws a land. Wow, look at this. Look at this. Create a Power Stone. Create a Power Stone. Play the land. We're just going to keep making Power Stones until our opponent does something. Our opponent must have kept the no creature all aura hand. Opponent. Paw. Sure. Well, let's make a Power Stone. These Power Stones are... Hall of Tanks is actually... Maybe Platty. Hidden Genius. Maybe they actually knew. All right, let's just play Simulacrum Synthesizer. Bottom and bottom. Actually, maybe we keep the Fountain Pour. Fountain Pour seems good with all these Power Stones. Next turn, we get to do the thing. And the thing seems pretty sweet. Assuming we don't die right now, which hopefully not, but they do definitely have creatures to put their auras on now. Ethereal Armor. Sure. Because I think what we can do next turn, we're going to have enough mana that we can play the Thunderhawk. And then we can metamorph to copy the Thunderhawk. Well, let's make a Power Stone. This Hall of Takeson's been pulling its weight this game. Plus, we got the Synthesizer to make constructs. Well, that's threefold Thunderhawk. Mini mode comes in with 3 counters. Make some babies. And then a Metamorph. Yeah, this good game's probably justified. Thunderhawk, constructs. Okay, so Hall Takeson. Maybe Platy was onto something. It definitely worked out this game. The extra mana was huge, and it grows the constructs, which is nice. If we happen to draw a Synthesizer, about it, Audacity. I mean, I don't know if there's enough auras in Standard for for our opponent to grow that Savannah Lions through an 18/18. Well, that went really good. That went really good. We could see the difference of having a little bit of removal in the deck. And also, like, we weren't thinking about our mana base, which is a good sign. The fact that we can have this Hall of Takes and still have all of our colors, huge improvement. So I think we're on the right track. I think we might be on the right track. More meme or dreaming with some Nexus of Becoming. Wow, okay. This hand shows how much different the deck looks now that we made a couple upgrades. Being able to actually have a bunch of removal, kind of nice. Although, really, we didn't take any combo pieces out of the deck, which is also nice, right? So we got some removal, but we just took out counters, so the combo still remains the same. But I feel like imagine if all of our removal spells were counter spells. How sketchy this hand would be. Like, the bat would never die. We wouldn't be able to counter it. We just get absolutely run over. I think our opponent thinks we're a control deck. I think they think we're a control deck. We're just going to run it back. I think they think we're a control deck. I think they think we're blue-white control. Little do they know. I guess they just assumed they couldn't beat that amount of removal. That was just a we have 2 Sunfalls and 4 Get Lost. That was just a really removal-heavy hand. That is not what our deck is actually like. It probably means our opponent's not going to be bringing in any artifact hate. They didn't see any artifacts. Sideboarding took a long time. Oh, wait. Are we actually playing? Oh, they're mulliganing. I'm like convinced our opponent saw our hand, thought it was blue-white control, freaked out, scooped the match, mulligan to 5, trying to have a hand that's good against control, and we're not even kind of control. Like, look at our hand now. It's so much different. Innkeeper's talent, sure. It's so much different. Play the land past the turn. Oh, about it. Land end. Glisa. That's a pretty good one. And gonna get some counters. We could actually use a removal spell. Ha ha. As much as I would like to kill the Innkeeper's talent, I kind of feel like we have to kill the... Yeah, I think we have to kill the Glissa. We can't let it start drawing cards. And now, the real fun begins. Land, and you know what? Let's play the Mondrak. If Mondrak lives, we get to start doubling up our Power Stones. Don't kill it. Don't kill it. Don't kill it. Opponent plays the land in. Okay. Ooh, 3 steps ahead is a clutch draw. Well, let's play the land, go to combat, get it with the Mondrak. 3 steps ahead is huge because it means there's some chance that if our opponent just tries to Vraska here, we can counter it and not immediately die. Oh, praise the magic gods. Yes, we would like to 3 steps ahead that Vraska and not lose the game immediately. Want another one? Okay, magic gods. See, Platy knew some number of counters is actually helpful. We just don't need all counters. We need a mix of counters and removal. Mosswood Red Knight, sure. I mean, as long as they're not playing a Planeswalker that makes us die, we will let our opponent kind of do what they want here. Mosswood Red Knight, sure. And Preacher of the Schism, well, that's Stern Lesson. Draw a couple cards, discard a card, make a couple Power Stones. Growing the Preacher, and passing. Wow, there's another Thunderhawk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think we gotta wait one more turn. Yeah, let's play the Stone Retrieval unit. Pass the turn. Opponent Swamp. And gonna map on the Dread Knight. Okay, hits a land, that's good. We're actually a little scared of them hitting non-land, because this is gonna get really big. Although I guess hopefully the threefold Thunderhawk will take... Wow, another land, okay. Okay, can we... Can we just not put any counters on that? That was actually pretty convenient. We can block with this retrieval unit. Opponent combat attacks. Yeah, we'll just block the Preacher. Because this threefold Thunderhawk is going to do a bit of work, I think, hopefully. Well, yeah, let's play the Thunderhawk. Double up the tokens. We do have to leave up the counter, like, forever, which is kind of annoying. But we do need to leave it up just because of this, or until we can kill the Innkeeper's Talent, at least. Just because they're still at the, if we draw a Planeswalker, we win stage of the game, which is very awkward. Pay 2, sack an artifact, put a counter on it. And attacks with everything. Block here. Block here. And, yeah, I mean, let's also kill the Dread Knight. Actually, no, that's silly. Let's not kill the Dread Knight. We'll take the 5. I don't think we want to let our opponent draw a card, so we'll just block. Would like to, like, Fountain Port and draw a card, but I think we just have to leave up this counter. Opponent, Glissa. Well, that's actually kind of annoying. Well, let's Thunderhawk. Sack a token. Thunderhawk. Sack a token. Untap, we draw Sunfall. Play a Thunderhawk. So they get to kill. I think this is fine, though. We get to make 10 tokens. I think our actual game plan here is to just go around our opponent's creatures. We're basically a gnome deck at the moment. Wow, we didn't even draw the Nexus this game. Yeah, opponent gets to kill it. That's fine. If they draw a Planeswalker, we can answer it. If they don't draw a Planeswalker, we should be able to kill them next turn, right? Hopefully. They have this Restless Cottage that can gain life, selling up to 18. It's actually ended up being one of the most interesting games we played. This is actually a very close back and forth game. Attacks. Eats the Thunderhawk. Sure. Block the 4/4. Actually, are we even trying to win this turn? Do we have to do math? So I go to 18. Yeah. Okay, so we can't win this turn. So we're going to kill the creature land. So we kill the creature land. We drop to 4. Sack a token, draw a card. If our opponent kills the Thunderhawk, then we will probably Sunfall. Actually, we need a land, don't we, to leave up the counter? Well, we'll see what our opponent does. Okay, they sack the food to gain some life. That's fine. So we go up to 18. Oh, we draw the Nexus. Opponent passes. Go to combat, draw a card. Can we find one more Thunderhawk? One more Thunderhawk. Just one. All right, we'll just put another Nexus into play for next turn. 2 more Nexuses, actually. Next turn with 3 Nexuses. Nexus drawn. Things might be kind of sweet. Man, I wish we could kill this Innkeeper's Talent so we didn't have to keep leaving up this 3 steps ahead. We just don't want to do all this and then lose to a Vraska. That would be so annoying. All right, servos. Or gnomes. You've lived a good life. There are many of you. Time to block a Dread Knight. We're just going to keep blocking and keep blocking and keep blocking and keep blocking and keep blocking. All right. 14 gnomes versus a Mosswood Dread Knight. So opponent gets to draw a card. Whoa. Still fighting. Okay, little visual bug, but we'll take it. Found it. Dread Knight draws a card. And Jungle Hollow, and Dread Knight returns. All right, well, let's Stern Lesson. Ugh, all right. Well, not the best cards. But we do make some more Power Stones. Opponent, go for the Throat the Mondrak. We could sack stuff, but I think it's fine. I don't think we really need it. I mean, we have 3 Nexus. Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness. Play the Hall. And get a few triggers. Nexus of Becoming. Ooh. Metamorph. Copy of that Thunderhawk. Power Stone Engineer. And Simulacrum Synthesizer might as well. And bottom, and I guess we'll keep the lesson. Yeah, we'll just wait one more turn. We'll wait one more turn. Opponent combat. I mean, if they're just going to put counters on things, that's fine, because our board is so big now. Sure, gonna go the Lifelink Vampire. Well, all right. Do a little... I mean, I think we win this turn, right? This should be the turn where we win. Opponent. Dread Knight can draw down to 17. And going to duress. Well, in that case, we will blow up the Innkeeper's Talent. Copy, draw. Discard a Plains. Alright, and now you may duress this opponent. Okay, this deck might actually be sick. Well, we finally got rid of the Innkeeper's Talent. They take the card draw. I mean, I guess our opponent could have a Wrath. If our opponent has a Wrath, then all bets are off. Then I don't know what happens. If they don't have a Wrath, next turn's gonna be sweet. Mosswood Red Knight. Are we just mapping? Okay, looks like Wrath is off the table. About it. Gonna draw a card. It's a swamp. About it. Gonna crack the map. There's the Vraska, but no Innkeeper's Talent. Opponent passes. We draw 3 steps ahead. Well, we will go to combat. Stasis Coffin goes into play as a golem. And make us a construct. And oh my god, Hulking Metamorph goes into play. I guess we'll just copy one of these threefold Thunderhawks and then a Get Lost. Well, we're gonna go to combat, and we are just going to attack with everything. Swing with the Gru. Trigger, trigger, trigger. We are almost getting the fair token limit here. Wow, that's a 56-56. We'll kill this Glissa. And about it. Scoops it up, and that was spectacular. I mean, that was Golgari. That is one of the best decks in Standard, and we just absolutely dominated them. Where do we land with this deck? Where do we land? So we played 3 matches with the original build. Then we played 2 matches with the updated build. We didn't actually lose with the updated build. The updated build actually felt pretty good, and the changes we made were pretty minimal, right? So we started off with this deck list, which is exactly what we played our first 3 matches with, and we learned 2 things. We learned 2 things with the original build of the deck. One is the actual idea of the deck of using Nexus of Becoming to put threefold Thunderhawk into play is actually really powerful. We learned that game 1. We were like, oh my god, that's so good. So that part was shocking. We also learned that the mana base was really bad, and the plan of just playing a million counters, but no actual removal, not very effective. We were just getting run over by anyone that resolved a thing. So that's where he started off. I would say clearly, this build is a meme, right? It's a meme, but it's a meme with potential. Like, I truly believe that someone could take this deck list and that they could get 6 wins in a row with it. I think it just requires running well, right? If you're just regularly ramping into Nexus and putting threefold Thunderhawk into play, you're going to win games. Maybe you don't draw the bad mana issues. Maybe you don't run into aggro, so playing all the counters is fine. So I could certainly construct a 6-game run with the original build of this deck where you would get 6 wins in a row. So I actually think it's realistic that happened. I will say, long term, I think the original build has to be considered a meme though, just because we went 1 and 2 with it, and as we saw, anything that just plays a creature in the first 3 turns is kind of unbeatable for our deck, like just any aggro deck, because we just didn't have any way of dealing with it. I think our rebuild kept the initial spirit of the deck, which was part of the goal of the rebuild, right? We could obviously take out all of the cards and build a brand new deck, but that's not what we want to do. We just want to update it while keeping the same foundation. I think our rebuild went really, really well. Just dropping down to 4 counters and adding in 2 Sunfalls and 4 Get Lost, that changed the equation. Then all of a sudden, we could kill the bat. We could kill that mono red threat that was about to kill us with a bunch of pump spells. So that changed everything. And then we also just made a functional mana base by kind of just tossing in rare dual lands. There wasn't much to it, really, other than just add some of those so we're not playing 19 basics we started off with, which is just, that's so risky because we had games where we drew all blue lands, but no white lands, all white lands, no blue lands. So I think that those 2 changes took this from a meme-ish style deck with potential to a deck that I think actually might be worth exploring more. So I think the combo, which we saw again and again, of Nexus of Becoming with threefold Thunderhawk is strong enough that there might actually be something here. Does it involve Power Stone Engineer? Does it involve Stasis Coffin in the main deck? Is Stone Retrieval Unit actually a playable standard card. There's still questions and still brewing to be done, but I feel like the primary synergy of the deck is strong enough that it's worth brewing around more, and I would not be surprised if there's actually maybe something here. Maybe the artifact control decks could play this. Maybe it's a brand new build, but I think that Platy, why their actual deck build was a meme, they actually stumbled or came up with something that actually feels like a really powerful synergy in Standard. So as far as changes that I would make to the deck, our final rebuild, because remember, we didn't really want to change the foundation of the deck. We just wanted to tune it up and make it a little more functional. I would say you could play the same main deck. Personally, I would remove the 2 Stasis Coffins. We did make them work once. There was a game that we won because of Stasis Coffin, and I would consider just kind of upping the number of our best cards. Like, the combo with 3-fold Thunder Hulk is so good, I think we should be playing 4 of those to make sure it happens as often as possible. Simulacrum Synthesizer, so good. We should probably be playing 4 of those to make sure we draw it as often as possible. So I'd probably go something like this, and then you could go even further and be like, do we really want Power Stone Engineers? Could there be another 2-drop? But I would be very comfortable running a list very close to this, maybe like trim a Metamorph for another removal spell, some really fringe things around the end, around the edges. And then the other change I would make is just the sideboard. Like, Doorkeeper Thrall, it's gotta go. Yes, I know we want to shut down the Atraxa, but let's just try to counter the Atraxa and not use Doorkeeper Thrall to shut down our own combo, where it shuts down 3-fold Thunder Hulk and like half of our Stone Retrieval unit. It shuts down like half of our Synergy Simulacrum Synthesizer. So I feel like Doorkeeper Thrall is just a non-starter. I think when someone built this sideboard, they just must not have thought through. I think they thought, okay, what do I need to stop my opponent's stuff? And didn't necessarily think, what does this do to my deck? Because Doorkeeper Thrall, I think we just can't play because it's so much of a non-build with our deck. So I'd probably just do something like that. And then the rest of the stuff, Unkiss, I still don't really know what Unkiss is for. And then just toss in, some graveyard hate, maybe some more removal spells, maybe a couple more Sunfalls, some more temporary lockdowns, just some very traditional stuff to round out the sideboard. And then we're good to go with a super sweet deck. So all in all, gonna have to say, original build of I spent all my wild cards on Nexus of Becoming. It's gotta be a meme, but I think with the upgrades we made, I think that Platy was actually onto something and actually ended up inspiring a really cool synergy and real cool deck. So overall, I'm gonna have to call this one a dream. So anyway, that is I spent all my wild cards on Nexus of Becoming. That's been our meme or dream for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.